Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take these really complex topics, we dig into the sources, and we pull out the insights that, actually matter.
And today we are talking about the cardiovascular system.
Right, that relentless engine that's right in the center of your chest. It's something we all just take for granted.
We do. But our sources today, they paint this picture of just extraordinary biological engineering. We've got material on everything from, the basic anatomy of the heart to its evolutionary journey.
And some brand new breakthroughs, right? AI, new devices.
Exactly. And even the simple physics that governs how it all works, second by second.
So at its core, the CVS is really just the ultimate supply chain. It's a completely closed circuit. You got the heart, arteries, capillaries, veins, blood.
And its mission, its one nonstop mission, is to get oxygen and nutrients to every single cell.
While hauling away the trash like carbon dioxide and other waste, it never gets a day off.
Never. And that whole circuit is organized into these two major loops. First, you've got the pulmonary circulation.
That's the short trip.
The very short trip. It takes the deoxygenated blood, sends it to the lungs to drop off CO2, pick up fresh oxygen, and come right back.
And then there's the big one.
Then there's the systemic circulation. That's the main event. It takes that fresh oxygenated blood and pushes it out to literally the entire rest of the body. Your brain, your toes, everything.
So our mission for you today is to really unpack this. We want you to understand the architecture of that pump, trace its, 500 million year journey?
At least, yeah, and see its complexity. And then we'll get into the modern breakthroughs that are happening right now in cardiology.
And finally, we'll explore those powerful kind of unseen forces like exercise and the one we're all fighting, gravity.
It's a bigger deal than you think.
Okay, let's unpack this.
All right, so let's start with the pump itself, the heart.
Right.
Anatomically, it's a hollow, muscular pump. It's about the size of your clenched fist, give or take. Sits right in the chest cavity in the mediastinal area.
And it's a little off-center, isn't it?
It is, yeah. About 2/3 of it lies just to the left of the midline.
Yeah.
And it weighs, maybe 250 to 350 grams. It's not a huge organ.
But the power it puts out is just astounding.
It's incredible. And if you look at the wall of the heart, it's the structural masterpiece. You've got 3 main layers.
Okay.
On the very outside, that's the epicardium. The middle thickest layer is the myocardium. That's the real muscle, the engine room.
And on the inside?
That's the endocardium. It's a really smooth lining that basically minimizes friction as the blood flows through.
But there's a sac around the whole thing, too, the pericardium.
Yes, the security system. It's this double-walled, fibrous sac. And its job is really twofold. It anchors the heart, holds it in place.
So it's not just bouncing around in your chest.
Exactly. And critically, it stops the heart from overstretching, from overfilling with blood. It protects that pumping efficiency.
And inside, we have the 4 famous chambers. 2 atria on top, 2 ventricles on the bottom.
And if you just follow the path of the blood, you can really see that dual loop system in action. All the used deoxygenated blood from your body comes back through the vena cava.
The big veins.
The biggest ones, yeah. And it all drains into the right atrium. The heart's own used blood even drains back in there too.
Okay, so from the right atrium, it goes down into the right ventricle.
Right. And that chamber pumps it out through the pulmonary trunk, heading straight for the lungs. That's the low pressure trip.
Then it gets oxygenated, comes back from the lungs, and enters the left atrium.
And from there, it goes into the left ventricle. And this is the superhero chamber.
This is the one doing all the heavy lifting.
All of it. I mean, the wall of the left ventricle is like 2 to 3 times thicker than the right one.
Wow.
It has to be. It needs that extra muscle to generate enough force to eject blood into the aorta and get it to the entire rest of your body.
And to make sure all that blood flows in one direction, you have valves. Kind of like one-way doors.
Perfect analogy. You have 4 of them. 2 AV valves between the atria and ventricles, the tricuspid on the right, mitral on the left.
And then 2 more at the exits.
The semilunar valves, yeah, the aortic and the pulmonary. Their job is absolute. Let blood through, but don't let a single drop flow backward.
So when we talk about a heartbeat, we're talking about systole and diastole.
Contraction and relaxation. But here's something our sources pointed out that's really not intuitive. 80% of the filling of the ventricles is passive. It just happens when the ventricle relaxes during diastole. Suction and gravity just pull the blood in.
So the atria contracting atrial systole, that's only a small part of it.
It's just the last 20%. It's like topping off the tank. That's why you can technically survive even if your atria aren't working perfectly.
That's amazing. And that mechanical action, that's what we hear with a stethoscope.
The lub-dub, exactly. The lab sound, or S1, that's the AV valve snapping shut when the ventricles start to contract.
And the dup.
That's S2. That happens when the semilunar valves close as the ventricles relax. It's the sound of the exit door shutting.
But what's driving all this? It's electricity, right?
It's a whole intrinsic electrical grid.
Yeah.
It starts at the SA node, the sinoatrial node. That's the heart's natural pacemaker.
It sets the rhythm.
It sets the rhythm. The signal then travels down through the AD node, the bundle of His, and then shoots out through the Purkinje fibers, which spread the impulse all across the ventricles.
So an ECG is just a picture of that electrical wave.
Literally. The small P wave, that's the atria getting their electrical signal.
The 20%ers?
The 20%ers, yeah. Then the huge QRS complex, that's the massive electrical activation of the ventricles. And the T wave is just the ventricles resetting, repolarizing. It's this perfectly timed electromechanical dance.
And a system that perfect didn't just pop into existence. It took millions of years.
Hundreds of millions of years. And it's a perfect example of what we call convergence in evolution.
Which is when different species, sort of,
Mm-hmm.
arrive at the same solution independently.
Precisely. They face a similar problem like, how do we move blood around more efficiently? And they evolve similar answers. I mean, if you go back 500 million years, the blueprint was just a simple pulsating tube in an open circulatory system.
Just kind of sloshing blood around.
Basically, the big driver for change was pressure. You need higher pressure for a faster metabolism, for more complex movement. So fish made the first big leap.
2 chambers.
2 chambers, 1 atrium, 1 ventricle in a single line. Simple, but effective for life underwater. But things get way more complex when you crawl onto land.
Amphibians.
Amphibians. They jump to 3 chambers, 2 atria, fully separated, feeding 1 common ventricle. And this was huge because it allowed for dual circulation.
A loop for the lungs and a loop for the body.
Exactly. And our sources point out their cool little workaround. They can also breathe through their skin through cutaneous capillaries, which helps supplement what their basic lungs can do.
So what about reptiles?
Well, non-crocodile reptiles like snakes and turtles, they also stick with 3 chambers, but they add this fascinating twist. Incomplete walls, or septa, in the ventricle.
And why do they do that?
It allows them to shunt blood. They can actively move blood from the right side to the left, or vice versa.
Why?
Think about it. If a turtle is diving, holding its breath, there's no point wasting energy pumping blood to lungs that aren't getting any air.
Oh, so they can just bypass the lungs to save energy. That's brilliant.
It's an incredible optimization. Of course, the apex of all this is the 4-chambered heart.
Crocodiles, birds, and us mammals.
Right. We finally get complete separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. It allows for the high-pressure, high-efficiency system you need for, being warm-blooded and active.
And even there, you see specialization. The source mentioned crocodiles have something called the foramen of Panizza.
Yeah, it's a little hole that allows them to do a controlled shunt when they dive, so they have the best of both worlds.
But for us mammals, the specialization is in the muscle itself. It's not just a bag that squeezes.
Not at all. We now know it's built on what's called the helical ventricular myocardial band model, the HVMB.
A helical. So it's a spiral.
It's a complex figure-of-8 spiral of muscle, and the effect is incredible. Instead of just squeezing inward, the ventricle contracts with a twisting motion. Researchers call it a mop torsion.
Like you're wringing out a towel.
Exactly like that. And that twisting motion dramatically improves how much blood gets ejected, its maximum efficiency. And it also helps create an active suction to pull blood in during the filling phase. It's just a phenomenal piece of engineering.
So while our bodies perfected this over millions of years, modern science is now finding ways to analyze it and even fix it with brand new tools.
Which brings us to some of the breakthroughs happening literally this year.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, we have to start with AI, artificial intelligence in cardiology. These tools are now doing things that, in some cases, outperform human experts.
Like EchoNext.
Yeah, EchoNext from Columbia and New York Presbyterian. It analyzes a standard ECG, that electrical chart we talked about, and it can detect hidden structural heart disease.
And the accuracy is pretty high.
The source is quoted at 77% accuracy in finding undiagnosed cases. For comparison, the human cardiologist in the study scored 64%.
That's a huge difference. It's catching things that would otherwise be missed.
It's catching silent killers. Yeah, it's a massive deal for proactive care. AI is also helping streamline procedures like PCI, percutaneous coronary intervention.
Stents.
Right, putting in stents. AI can analyze non-invasive scans to help decide if a stent is needed, which could reduce the need for more invasive diagnostic tests beforehand.
And on the device side.
Things are moving really fast. The FDA just expanded approval for Boston Scientific's Farapulse system. It uses pulsed field ablation, or PFA, to treat persistent atrial fibrillation.
How's that different from regular ablation?
Traditional methods use heat or cold, which can have collateral damage. PFA uses these very brief, high-energy electrical fields that are much more precise in targeting only the problematic heart tissue. It's safer.
And the big one, a total artificial heart.
It's getting closer. BiVACOR's total artificial heart is making real progress in U.S. trials. It uses magnetic levitation to suspend its internal rotor, which means way less wear and tear. It's a very promising alternative to waiting for a transplant.
And then there's a shift in medicine, coming from an unexpected place.
A huge shift. We're talking about GLP-1 receptor agonists.
The drugs that got famous for diabetes and weight loss.
Those are the ones. But it turns out they have a massive cardiovascular benefit. Our sources show they significantly reduce major events, heart attacks, strokes in high-risk patients, and that's even independent of the weight loss.
So a diabetes drug is now a cardiology drug.
It's causing a major shakeup, yeah. It's a whole new tool in the toolbox.
All these high-tech fixes are amazing, but it's important to remember that the heart is still governed by, basic physics.
Absolutely, and that's where lifestyle comes in. The single most powerful tool you have is consistent aerobic exercise.
Walking, running, swimming.
Anything that gets your heart rate up, it trains the heart muscle, makes it more efficient. And you can see it in the data. A conditioned athlete might have a resting heart rate of, say, 40 to 50 beats per minute.
Compared to an average of around 70 for a healthy adult.
Right. Their heart is doing much less work to get the same job done. The sources even mention an extreme recorded low of 26 beats per minute.
26, that's barely ticking.
It just shows you how powerful and efficient the heart can become. Exercise is also a fantastic tool for managing blood pressure. It reduces systolic pressure by 3 to 5 points and diastolic by 2 to 3, even in people who are already healthy. It's a natural hypotensive.
And the opposite is true for inactivity.
The flip side is really risky. A sedentary life leads to obesity, high blood pressure, and it can also cause tachycardia, a resting heart rate over 100, which is a huge strain on the heart.
So to really get the physics, we have to talk about gravity.
Yeah.
And this thing called venous return.
Yes. Venous return is simply the flow of blood back to the right atrium. And it is the single biggest factor that determines your heart's total output.
And getting that blood back up from your legs against gravity is a constant battle.
It's a fight your body is always winning, hopefully. It uses these really clever mechanisms. The biggest one is the skeletal muscle pump.
So just from walking.
Just from walking. When your calf muscles contract, they squeeze the deep veins in your legs. And because those veins have one-way valves, the blood can only go one way, up toward the heart.
It's like you have a second heart in your legs.
It's a great way to think about it. And then you have the respiratory pump in your torso. When you breathe in, your diaphragm moves down. That lowers the pressure in your chest and raises the pressure in your abdomen.
Which squeezes the blood upward.
It squeezes the inferior vena cava and basically sucks the blood up toward the heart. You're pumping blood just by breathing.
And scientists can actually model this.
They can. They use these 1D blood flow models, like the ADAM56 model, to quantify gravity's effect. In the physics equations, they just add a term for the weight of the column of blood.
So how tall you are, basically.
Essentially, yeah. The brute force weight of that column of blood pressing down. And the core assumption in these models is that your body tries to compensate perfectly by adjusting the resistance in your smaller peripheral blood vessels. The goal is always to maintain a constant flow of blood to your organs no matter what.
And the simulations show this works.
They show that to maintain that same flow against gravity, the body has to significantly increase pressure all throughout the system, especially in the arteries at the very top, like in your neck, and at the very bottom in your legs.
So what does this all mean?
Well, we've gone from the incredible mop torsion of the heart's helical muscle through the wild future of AI diagnostics and all the way back to the simple daily physics your body is fighting. And it all connects. Those basic lifestyle choices like aerobic exercise, they are what power the mechanical pumps that help you win the fight against gravity every single day.
The whole system just wants to maintain constant flow no matter what. Our models assume the body has this, unlimited ability to adjust to do that. But in reality, we know that's not true. It's finite.
It is. Which leads to a really critical question for you to think about. If the goal of the circulatory system is to maintain constant flow despite all these external forces, where is the precise failure point when the body's compensation mechanisms, the very same ones that keep you from fainting every time you stand up, finally start to break down?